A successful man is one who can lay a firm foundation with bricks others have thrown at him. With this amazing thought, a very good morning to all my dear students. I hope that you all are in good health. This is Shreya Jadhav welcoming you all to my e-learning channel, and today we are going to learn English Grade 11 Supplementary Reading 1 The Summer of a Beautiful White Horse, written by William Saroyan. So, before starting with the reading and explanation of the chapter, let us know something about the author. William Saroyan, born on August 31st, 1908, died May 18, 1981, was an American novelist, playwright, and short story writer. He was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Drama in 1940 and in 1943 won the Academy Award for Best Story for the film The Human Comedy. His best works are The Time of Our Life, My Name is Aram, and My Heart is in Highlands. Introduction for answer. Dear students, whenever you write down the answers, whether you write it down in your fair books or you write down for examination purpose, always remember to start your answers with introduction. Prose name, The Summer of a Beautiful White Horse. Author's name, William Saroyan. Genre, short story. Summary. In the story, the narrator Aram is talking about things that happened in his life when he was 9 years old. So now, let us go through the reading and explanation of the chapter. Supplementary 1. The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse. Let us go through the summary first. Murad and Aram were Armenian boys. They belonged to the Garogalian tribe, which was known for its honesty, pride, and integrity since 11 centuries. They would never take advantage of anybody and would never ever steal. They were once very rich and had their own lands, but they lost everything due to the war. Now they were so poor that they found it difficult to even buy food to eat. One morning, Murad brought a horse and took Aram to ride. Aram's uncle, Khusrov, was a big man with a powerful head and black hair. He had the largest mustache in the village. However, he was furious in nature. He would roar at people and make them stop their talking. He always was a short-tempered and irritable. His crazy streak had been inherited in Aram's cousin Murad. He also had a passion and was crazy about horses and riding. Murad had hidden a farmer John Byro's horse in a deserted vineyard. He used to take the horse out for early morning rides. He was a wonderful rider. The horse would burst into fury of speed within no time with Murad on its back. Aram was rather a bad rider. He always fell off the horse when he rode alone. John Byro was a farmer. He was an Assyrian. He had learned to speak Armenian. He lived nearby. He came to tell the narrator's mother that his white horse had been stolen last month. It had remained untraced yet. He was very sad about it. He also told the family that he knew they had not taken the horse, as Garogalian tribe was famous for their integrity and honesty. In the end, the pangs of conscience overpowered this boy's passion, and they didn't want to bring a bad name to their proud family, so they returned the horse to its true owner, John Byro. So now let us go through the reading. This story is about two Armenian boys who belong to a tribe whose hallmarks are trust and honesty. One day back there in the good old days, when I was 9 and the world was full of every imaginable kind of magnificence, and life was still a delightful and mysterious dream. My cousin Murad, who was considered crazy by everybody who knew him except me, came to my house at 4 in the morning and woke me up tapping on the window of my room. Aram, he said. I jumped out of bed and looked out of the window. I couldn't believe what I saw. It wasn't morning yet, but it was summer, and with daybreak not many minutes around the corner of the world, it was light enough for me to know I wasn't dreaming. My cousin Murad was sitting on a beautiful white horse. I stuck my head out of the window and rubbed my eyes. Yes, he said in Armenian, it's a horse. You're not dreaming. Make it quick if you want to ride. So over here what happened? The talk is starting up before where good old days were spent. And at that time duration over here, the two little boy, one name is Aram and the other one's name is Murad. Murad was considered as one of a crazy person in the family, but only Aram knew that how generous he was. One day in the morning, he came at his house, Aram's house, at 4 in the morning and woke him up. It was early, very early, but as it was summer, within no minutes the daybreak would be there. And when he eventually saw, he wasn't dreaming. Murad was actually sitting on a beautiful white horse. He just stuck his head out of the window and he was observing. And Murad told that yes, it is actually a horse and he was not dreaming. And he also advised him to make a quick move if he wanted to ride. I knew my cousin Murad enjoyed being alive more than anybody else who had even fallen into the world by mistake. But this was more than ever I could believe. In the first place, my earliest memories had been memories of horses, and my first longings have been longings to ride. This was the wonderful part. In the second place, we were poor. So over here, Murad was really very fun-loving and alive person, and he knew that Aram was a very good person. He knew that these two boys only longed and wished for things. The first one to ride on a beautiful horse and to have one. But the second reality was that they were poor. This was the part that wouldn't permit me to believe what I saw. We were poor. We had no money. Our whole tribe was poverty stricken. Every branch of Garogalian family was living in the most amazing and comical poverty in the world. Nobody could understand where we ever got money enough to keep us with food in our bellies. Not even the old men of the family. Most important of all, though we were famous for our poverty, honesty, we had been famous for our honesty for something like 11 centuries. Even when we had been the wealthiest family in what we liked to think was the world. We were proud first, honest next, and after that we believed in right and wrong. None of us would take advantage of anything in the world, let alone steal. Consequently, even though I could see the horse so magnificent, even though I could smell it so lovely, even though I could hear it breathing so exciting, I couldn't believe the horse had anything to do with my cousin Murad or with me or with any of the other members of our family, asleep or awake, because I knew my cousin Murad couldn't have bought the horse. And if he couldn't have bought it, he might have stolen it. And I refused to believe he had stolen it. No member of Garogalian family would be a thief. I stared first at my cousin, and then at his horse. There was a pious stillness and humor in each of them, which on the one hand delighted me and on the other frightened me. Murad, I said, where did you steal this horse? Leap out of the window, he said. I want you to ride. It was true then. He had stolen the horse. There was no question about it. He had come to invite me to ride or not as I chose. Well, it seemed to me stealing a horse for a ride was not the same thing as stealing something else, such as money. For all I knew, maybe it wasn't stealing at all. So, over here, the writer is trying to put forward and say that these children, this tribe specifically, they were really poor. They didn't had money. Their whole tribe was poverty stricken. Every branch of the family was living in a comical poverty in the world, and no one would even believe that from where they used to get money to feed themselves, and not even the old men knew. And their tribe was really very famous for the honesty, and that they were famous for almost like 11 centuries. They were considered to be the wealthiest families in the whole world. They were proud first, honest next, and after that they believed in what is right and wrong. And consequently, when he saw that the horse was standing outside, the horse was magnificent, it was commendable, it smelled so nice. He could listen to the breathing of it. He could believe, but he couldn't believe that this horse would belong to Murad, because he knew that their family members are not that wealthy enough. They are poor. How they can afford it? But it was an evident that this horse was stolen. And he's asking that none of the family members steal. We couldn't be thief. And at that time duration, his cousin Murad told that no, stop all these things. I have brought this for us to ride. If you are interested in it, please come and join. And at that time duration, Aram is also thinking that no, stealing horse and stealing money would be something different, and it wouldn't be considered as stealing also. Now let us move ahead. If you were crazy about horses the way my cousin Murad and I were. It wasn't stealing. I wouldn't become stealing until we offered to sell the horse, which of course I knew we would never do. Let me put on some clothes, I said. All right, he said, but hurry. I leaped into my clothes. I jumped down to the yard from the window and leaped up onto the horse behind my cousin Murad. That year we lived at the edge of the town, on Walnut Avenue. Behind our house was the country, vineyards, orchards, irrigation ditches, and country roads. In less than 3 minutes, we were on Oliver Avenue, and then the horse began to trot. The air was new and lovely to breathe. The feel of the horse running was wonderful. My cousin Murad, who was considered one of the craziest members of our family, began to sing. I mean, he began to roar. Every family has a crazy streak in it somewhere, and my cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of the crazy streak of our tribe. Before him was our uncle Khushro, an enormous man with powerful head of black hair and the largest mustache in San Joaquin Valley. A man so furious in temper, so irritable, so impatient that he stopped anyone from talking by roaring. It was no harm, pay no attention to it. So over here, no, Aram joined Murad and they went for riding. And at that time duration, what happened? Behind their home there was a country, means there were vineyards and orchards and irrigation ditches. They used to live on the Olive Avenue. The air was wonderful, the day was wonderful, and that feel that the horse was running was even more wonderful. And Murad was considered as one of the craziest members of the family, and he had got this as a natural descendant of one of the craziest person of their tribe, and that was Uncle Khushro. Uncle Khushro was also an enormous man with powerful head of black hair and the largest mustache in the valley. He was very furious, bad at temper, he was irritable, he was impatient, and he would stop any person from talking by roaring loud. But it was no harm and pay no attention to it. That was all, no matter what anybody happened to be talking about. Once it was in his own son Eric running across 8 blocks to barber's shop where his father was having his mustache trimmed, to tell him their house was on fire. This man Khushro sat up in the chair and roared, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." The barber said, "The boy says your house is on fire." So Khushro roared, "Enough, it is no harm, I say." So over here, his uncle, one small incident has been shared, and over here it has been told that one day their house was on fire. When he came to tell his father that his house was on fire, at that time this man roared and he told that no need to shout, there is no harm, and pay no attention to it. My cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of this man, although Murad's father was Zora, who was practical and nothing else. That's how it was in our tribe. A man could be a father of his own son's flesh, but that did not mean that he was also the father of his spirit. The distribution of the various kinds of spirit of our tribes had been from the beginning capricious and vagrant. We rode And my cousin Murad sang. For all anybody knew, we were still in the old country where, at least according to some of our neighbors, we belonged. We let the horse run as long as it felt like running. At last, my cousin Murad said, "Get down, I want to ride alone." "Will you let me ride alone?" I asked. "That is up to the horse," my cousin said. "Get down." "The horse will let me ride," I said. "We shall see," he said. "Don't forget that I have a way with horse." "Well," I said, "any way you would have with a horse, I have also." "For the sake of safety," he said, "let us hope so." "Get down." "All right," I said, "but remember, you have got to let me try to ride alone." I got down, and my cousin Murad kicked his heels into the horse and shouted, "Wazir, run." The horse stood on its hind legs, snorted, and burst into fury of speed that was the loveliest. So over here, as they were riding down for a certain time duration until the horse felt like he should run, and at the end, Murad is telling Aram to get down because he wanted to ride it all alone. And at that time duration, he's been telling that no, will he give him also to ride alone? At that time, Murad is telling that he has his own way with horse, means he is comfortable, and the horse is also comfortable. And at that time, Aram said that he would also be one of them, let him also ride. So over here, eventually they are hoping, and Aram is coming down of the horse, is getting down, and his cousin Murad kicked his heels into the horse and shouted, "Wazir, run." And he just stood up on its hind legs and snorted and burst into the speed that was the loveliest thing he had ever seen. My cousin Murad raced the horse across a field of dry grass to an irrigation ditch, crossed the ditch on the horse, and 5 minutes later returned, dripping wet. The sun was coming up. "Now it's my turn to ride," I said. My cousin Murad got off the horse. "Ride," he said. I leaped to the back of the horse and for a moment knew the most awful fear imaginable. The horse did not move. "Kick into his muscle," my cousin Murad said. "What are you waiting for? We have got to take him back before everybody in the world is up and about." I kicked into the muscles of the horse. Once again it reared and snorted. Then it began to run. I didn't know what to do. Instead of running across the field to the irrigation ditch, the horse ran round and the road to the vineyard to Dikran Hilabian, where it began to leap over vines. The horse leaped over 7 vines before I fell. Then it continued running. My cousin Murad came running down the road. "I'm not worried about you," he shouted. "You have got to get that horse. You go this way, I'll go this way. If you come upon him, be kindly, I'll be near." I continued down the road, and my cousin Murad went across the field towards the irrigation ditch. It took him half an hour to find the horse and bring him back. "All right," he said, "jump on. The whole world is awake now. What will we do?" I said. "Well," he said, "we'll either take him back or hide him until tomorrow morning." He didn't sound worried, and I knew he had hide him and not take him back. Not for a while, at any rate. "Where we will hide him," I said. "I know a place," he said. "How long ago did you steal this horse?" I said. It suddenly dawned on me that he had been taking these early morning rides for some times and had come to me for this morning only because he knew how much I longed to ride. "Who said anything about stealing a horse?" he said. "Anyhow," I said, "how long ago did you begin riding every morning?" So over here, eventually what happened? They leaped on to the back of the horse. Yes, Murad was riding. He was very quick. And no, Murad was really very good at riding because the horse was also familiar with him. The horse across the field of the dry grass and irrigation ditch, crossed the ditch, and after 5 minutes later, when they returned, they were dripping wet. The sun has also come up and they were supposed to go back. But Aram said that it was his turn. So Murad got off the horse and he let him ride. And at that time duration when he sat, that was the most awful fear which he could imagine. Why? Because the horse did not move. At that time duration, Murad instructed him that he is supposed to kick into his muscles. And what eventually he was waiting for. And as soon as he kicked into the muscle of the horse all of a sudden once again reared and snorted, and he began to run. Now it was Aram's first time, so instead of running across the field and irrigation ditch, the horse became very angry. He was very ferocious. And at that time duration, he started running down the road to the vineyard, where he began to leap over the vines. The horse also leaped over 7 vines before he fell down. And still the horse continued running. His cousin Murad also came running down the road. And Murad told to Aram that he was not worried about him, but he was worried about the horse. And he instructed that they should both go in a separate direction to find the horse. And whosoever gets and finds him should be very kind and gentle to him. And he went down, he counted the road and he just went. And after no long search of half an hour, they found the horse and he brought him back. And at that time, Murad informed him that the whole world is awake now, and they were supposed to take back this horse or they must hide him back. And at that time duration, all of a sudden Aram struck that Murad was having horse many days back, because then only he would be saying that he was supposed to hide him. When he asked that how long this horse was with him, he didn't say anything. Instead, he told that he wasn't stealing anything. And no one has claimed also in the village that the horse was missing. And at another time, Aram asked him that how long was he riding this horse early in the morning. So, we are keeping the explanation of the chapter till here only. This is part 1 of supplementary chapter 1. I hope that all of you have understood it. Thank you for watching and have a nice day, everyone. See you all.